If you're looking to make improvements to your bike, here's how to get the most bang for your buck. This is GCN's top 10 best value upgrades. Not many single components have quite as much influence over the way your bike rides as your tyres. Firstly, saving weight in this area can make your bike feel more responsive by reducing rotating weight. Also, better quality tyres tend to feel more supple, which means more responsiveness. And finally, the size of the tyre probably has the biggest effect. Most riders will probably appreciate the increased comfort of going from a standard size 23 to a 25, and there's even the very subtle improvement in the rolling resistance. Just like tyres, saving weight on tubes reduces the all-important rotating weight. However, we found that light butyl tubes are more prone to punctures, so there's a little trade-off if you ride on rough roads. A better option is latex tubes, which also reduce rolling resistance too because they're so supple. The only slight issue though is that you tend to have to replace tubes quite frequently, so if you replace 4 expensive ones per year, is it still good value? Only you can say. Many people look at handlebars as a way to lose weight from their bikes, but overlook the fact that with all the different shapes and sizes, it can actually be an inexpensive way of revolutionising the fit of your bike. Most top manufacturers have a cheap aluminium bar in their range, which is not much heavier than the super expensive carbon bars, but comes in all the same shapes. For smaller riders, buying a compact bar will make braking and shifting easier, not to mention riding on the drops. And for those concerned with pure speed, there are also considerable aerodynamic advantages to be had from using narrower bars such as 42s or even 40s. If you ever have to ride in poor conditions, your gear and brake cables can suffer quite quickly, and the impact this has on your bike is huge. Your brakes will be less powerful and your gears won't work. When you think about it then, the price of new cables is incredibly good value to improve the ride of your bike. More expensive cables will improve shifting and braking still further, but just like with your latex inner tubes, buy what you can afford to replace. Having fresh, low friction ones is better than expensive but old ones. Clearly saddles come in different shapes and sizes, but expensive ones only really tend to be lighter than the cheaper ones, not more comfortable. If you're not happy on your current saddle, changing it for a different shape can have a huge impact on your comfort, and you don't need to spend hundreds. Even if you ride with gloves, changing your bar tape is really noticeable, and more expensive tape is not necessarily better. If we look at pro cyclists for example, they tend to run inexpensive cork tape. It can become a great value upgrade when you consider how much it can improve the look of your bike. No bike with dirty bar tape can ever look clean, and a clean bike is so good for morale you can almost see the increase in speed as a result. Putting 2 layers on can also seriously improve your comfort, especially for taller riders with large hands. It makes sense to modify the bike to fit you in all ways. Unless you have a seriously worn out cassette, changing it isn't going to give you a boost in performance. However, look at the number of teeth it has, because changing the range of your cassette can have a big impact. While many new bikes these days come with a 12-27 to give a nice wide range of gears, the tradition has always been 11-23. It doesn't sound like much, but the difference between a 23 and a 27 is actually huge and can make a big difference to how easily you can spin up a climb. Most pros use 27s now, so it probably makes sense for you to make the switch as well. Okay, so these aren't cheap, but the improvement they can make to the performance of your bike can make even expensive ones seem like good value. Weight is a big factor on performance, as is aerodynamics, and so is stiffness. If you ride on hilly roads or do loads of punchy climbs and sprints, then lightweight is what you're looking for. If you like motoring at steady speeds on flat roads, cheap deep section wheels with a hefty weight penalty will still pay off. Again, another curveball, but hear us out. You can spend a lot of money upgrading your bike, but would you be better off saving up and buying an entirely new bike? If you're finding yourself upgrading your drivetrain for example, you might be better off biting the bullet. Weigh up how much you're going to spend in total to see if it's going to be worth it. Without doubt, the best way of improving your bike is to improve its rider. Yep, that means you. Getting fitter makes you faster and is completely free, as is nailing your technique so you can get faster without even pedaling. Bike riding is great, you can always find ways to get better.